Everybody, welcome back to our Friday Night Fan Cam, episode 6. This is Ray in London. I've got Cam in Florida, and I've got one of our famous guests with us, Richard from Charlottesville. Hello, Richard. How you doing?
It's Thanksgiving, and what a way to ruin an entire Thanksgiving yesterday. Watching the Spurs, my stomach. I don't know if it was the food or the game, but
yeah.
I'm not doing well, to be honest.
But we want you to let it all out here. We've got our viewers will be joining as we go along, and so if they've got any comments, guys, if anybody's watching, please comment. Give us your comments. Give us your questions. We'd like to make it interactive. Lots of things to talk about. Cam, yes. Are you with us, or are you looking down all the time? You need to look up, Cam.
I was.
So basically, Cam, let's start talking about NS Mura now. I want to go to everybody. What a absolutely shower of a performance. What went wrong, Cam? Tell us.
Well, what I was looking when I was looking down was getting some quotes from Conte about what went wrong, and I want to read out something that he did say. Yeah. I want to be honest that we need to work a lot to improve the situation. We need time and patience. I don't know what happens in the future, but I'm here because I'm happy to stay here to work for Tottenham. Now, what I want to say about that quote, that Ray, is he's already questioning why he's at Tottenham and having to tell us, I am happy to keep staying here. And I think a couple of times he mentioned, I'm not going. So you only mention you're not going if it's already in your mind about you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think really, really, if you read his whole interview, it's quite scary and it's quite worrying, but this is definitely not the team that he signed up for. I mean, it's the team that we're stuck with. And another part of this quote that he goes on to say, which is this road could be that we have a lot of desire to work, but you can work, but you can push at a car at maximum level, and sometimes it's not enough to be competitive. So what he's basically saying is that however much I work with some of these players, they're just not going to ever get there. They're just we're in a situation where I'm never going to get where I need to get. Yeah. And today, after that, he's been quoted as saying, I'm watching. All I'm doing is watching, and I know who's staying and who's going to be going.
Okay, that's good. Richard, thanks very much for that, Cam. Let's talk about the performance, and then we'll talk about Conte's, demeanour and his comments. Tell us about the performance, Richard. From my point of view, before you start, it's one of the worst performances. I keep saying this every time we see Tottenham. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Tottenham team. What do you reckon, Richard?
Here's how Spursy the performance was yesterday. It was the worst 20 minutes I'd ever watched from Andres Villas to any Spurs team. Under Nuno, we looked like Real Madrid under Nuno compared to what we saw yesterday. Here's how shocking it was. We were literally better with 10 men. We went down a man, and actually, I said, okay, we're actually playing better since Sessegnon got kicked out of the game. What a terrible foot. Can we just get rid of him? I have a list of everybody I want to get rid of. Going back to quotes, going back to really quick, when you said those quotes, let's not forget what Pochettino said. If you want to have a lovely house, maybe you need better furniture. Look where that got him. That was Pochettino.
You got him a better furniture at PSG.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we're at. So it was the most abysmal performance I've ever seen. And everybody was horrible.
Try and put some structure around this, Richard. We've got one of the best managers in the world there, no doubt about that at all. We've got some players which are not brilliant, but they're not the worst players in the world. How can they turn in a performance like that after they've been with Conte for weeks, training and all that? Tell me how they can put in a crap performance like that.
I mean, I think it's just it's the play, right? So we clearly have we now know that they're just the quality just is not there, right?
Yeah.
And let's just start from the beginning, from the midfield. I mean, I've been the biggest Dele apologist in the world. He is absolutely nowhere near where I don't know what that's the biggest head scratcher to me. Forget the loss, forget what Conte. What in the world happened to Dele? I don't get it. And you get him. Mixed in with again a midfield that's Ndombele is another head scratcher where I'm fully off on him. I mean, we got to start looking at selling everybody. I'm not even convinced Brian Hill. I said that I'm not even convinced he's after what I've seen, he just doesn't do it for me on the right.
Yeah.
Certainly not on the right, maybe on the left, but what has he done? I mean, it was a shocking group. And Sessegnon, what is he on? 40 million? That was the worst shift I've ever seen put in by a Spurs player.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't actually said what I want to say, but I'm going to want to carry on doing some quotes. I want to read what Jamie O'Hara had to say on Sky Sports after the game. He said it's been an embarrassing performance, shocking from every level. Then he goes on, Mura are a Slovenian top-flight side. I expect a National League team to give these a game. It's been a disgrace. Doherty, Ndombele, Dele Alli, Davinson Sanchez were absolutely shocking. They shouldn't wear a Spurs shirt again. Some of them, in my opinion, because this is a Europa Conference League game that you need to win, and you need to impress a brand new manager in Antonio Conte. And if that is you going out to impress a brand new manager, wow. That is the biggest thing for me here is you've got a brand new manager, one of the most dynamic managers, one of the most exciting managers in the world right now, who puts his heart and soul into the game. And you already, after 4 games, trying to crush his heart and trying to crush his soul. These people are strangling our team by the neck. We finally managed to get the manager that we wanted, and these players are literally trying to kill it. If you ever saw the demeanor of Doherty and Bergwijn after the Leeds game, where Conte actually gave them a kiss, and they both looked away in a most disinterested manner whatsoever. Why they should ever wear that shirt again, I don't know. Because, that for me really smacks of really what everything is all about. How is it possible that this is how you go about impressing a new manager against, like Richard said, one of the weakest teams, the weakest team that we've never had a European point until yesterday.
A pub team. They were equivalent to a pub team.
Worse than a pub team, I think. Worse than a pub team.
I think they said they're worth $4 million and we're worth
$7 million.
Yeah.
As opposed to 700 million.
Shocking. I mean, Doherty, I didn't even get to him. Like, oh God.
But listen, I mean, is this? Let's have a look at another start. Is this like the players, Richard, having a go at Conte? You think you can do what you want? Well, we'll tell you we're in charge. There's nothing you're going to do here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's say that. Sorry, I was reading. How did you get Jamie Redknapp on the show? I started laughing. Sorry, I got an
American accent.
Jamie Redknapp, welcome, Simon. Welcome back on the show, bloody. Really appreciate you joining the stream. Yeah, we've got Jamie Redknapp. He's put on a bit of an American accent for us. We're trying to hide it, but it's actually Richard from Charlottesville. But what signal is this saying to the players? Is it some of those players just don't care anymore and say we don't give a damn? Even if it's Conte, we don't care. If you want to get rid of us, get rid of us. We're earning $100,000 a week for sitting around doing nothing.
Absolutely not, because they all know that they're getting punted in January. They're trying to put on a performance. They're just not capable of it. They're only
nobody wants to buy them, Richard. Who's going to want to buy Sanchez or Doherty? Nobody's going to want to buy them. We're stuck with them.
Or Sessegnon. Like, who is going to want to buy?
Sessegnon is young, but he's got a chance to grow up. But these people like, Dyer and Sanchez, these guys, nobody's going to want to buy them.
They're not good enough. And listen, even with Dyer, someone's like, oh, he put on a good performance yesterday against a Slovenian team that's like literally formed it, of course. But we all know what he's capable of. He's been terrible for 4 years, right? And, Sanchez, look, they put him on the left. I mean, can he even turn to his right? I've never seen anything like. I've never seen a professional footballer that's supposed to be on a world-class team get absolutely spun around in the box like he did twice for 2 goals. And that's our back. That's our starting back. He's done. Get rid of him.
Yeah, get rid of him, Simon. I think you're right. We nicknamed Sanchez Bambi because of exactly that. He's dancing on ice. I mean, for God's sake, the first time you slipped, change your studs, get longer studs so you got better grip. Didn't bother. Did exactly the same thing. How is this guy an international player? I just do not understand.
To be fair to Sanchez, he did have some good games before coming into this one. He did play pretty well on them.
You've got a good memory if you can remember a good game with Sanchez.
I think he played a couple of his early games that he played with Nuno. He wasn't too bad. My biggest question here is really we can keep knocking these players over and over and over and over again, and all they do is get worse and worse and worse the more that we view them. I mean, I think it's very clear that there's a reckoning coming, and the reckoning is basically simple, and that is they all go and Conte gets the money to do what he needs to do. I don't care how much it's worth or whatever they do, or Or let's be very clear about this, or Conte's gone by Christmas.
Okay, that's a good point now, actually. So, Richard, if Conte doesn't get what he wants in January, is he walking?
100%. Yeah. So we're gonna see. So right now the gauntlet's been thrown down. He has said what every other coach has said. Poch, even Nuno, even Jose. Jose said Spurs have problems I cannot resolve myself. That's an exact quote from him. So now it's the gauntlet's been thrown down. I think the glass was half full yesterday because at least for that performance, we now know all the players that are on the way out the door. So come January, if Levy doesn't fix it, he's gone. He 100% will walk. He said it yesterday. Everything that you read, Cam, with his quotes. So the good thing is that we need a major overhaul in January and that game. So the Man U game got us Conte, NS Mura. Hopefully, gets us a whole new roster in January. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I want to say something here. I mean, it's all good and well, Cam, saying, "Oh, we'll get rid of them. They're gone." Nobody wants these players, Cam. I think Sanchez, nobody's going to buy him. Hear me out. Sanchez, nobody wants him. Whoever, Doherty hasn't had to play the game in 18 months. Who's going to want these guys? You are stuck with them on your wage bill. And if they're on your wage bill, you cannot bring new players in. What is the answer?
Well, I think that what the answer is here now is very clear. That you take whatever you can get. I think you will get something for them. I think that Newcastle will be desperate, might take one or two. I think Ndombele you can get rid of, not for 60 million by any stretch of the imagination. I think somebody will take Delhi, maybe an up-and-coming team from the second division or someone who thinks that they still see a good player somewhere in there, that they want to rehabilitate. I mean, the only blessing in disguise I can see for Tottenham right now is Newcastle. They've got a load of money, don't know how to spend it or don't know what to do with it, and might be desperate enough to actually pick somebody up. But the fact is, we know we're not going to get any money. I mean, we keep saying this. Aurier went for nothing. He had to rip up his own contract to get out. Musa Sissoko, who we paid 35 million for, I believe, went for 2 million. And I think that realistically, we're now in a situation we're going to have to cut your losses. I mean, we already have put up a 80 million pound loss for the 2020 through the COVID year.
We'll talk about that. But Richard, I understand where you're coming from, Cam. But Daniel Levy is a businessman. If he buys somebody for 60, he's not going to sell him for 15. He's going to say, fine, I'm not selling.
Doesn't matter.
Well, we're in the boat now. There's been so many bad deals, and we didn't even talk about the other one, Giovanni Lo Celso. That's another one that has to go.
He's injured, isn't he?
He needs to go. He's also a horrible sign. I mean, we've had some just disaster class signings.
It's a Poch signing, though, isn't he? Lo Celso was a Poch signing.
Yes.
No, he was. Oh, yeah, he was. But he was. Yeah. You know what, Richard? You're right, because actually, when I look back over the last 2 years of anybody that we signed, apart from, to be fair, maybe Romero and Emerson that have come in, I can't see any signing that has excited me or has done anything. We're still relying on the remnants of the team that got to the final in the Champions League.
I mean, think about
the who have we bought in? Who have we bought that you would keep?
Got Ndombele, Lo Celso. We had Getson Fernandez, Vinicius. I mean, look at some of these players that we've brought in that have just amounted to absolutely nothing. And even like game yesterday, look. Even the Golini, does he ever dive for a ball? Does he ever dive on the ground and actually try to stop a ball? I mean,
their second goal was actually an own goal. It was going wide and it was deflected in. Do you know that, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know, because every time there's a goal, he never moves. He just watches it go in. Give me some kind of effort.
At least Golini, we can send him back to Atalanta. We haven't bought him, but others we can't send back anyway.
All right. I mean, you were attacking Sanchez so much, but at least he scored.
But we joke. But at least, listen, guys, let's talk about Conte now, because we know the game was absolutely disgraceful. Some of the comments he made were quite shocking to me. The fact that I am going to stay, like somebody might saying he's going to leave. Is it possible, Richard? And I'll come to you, Cam. Is it possible that Conte didn't look at the team, the players, do his analysis? He came blindly to Spurs and just already found out they're rubbish. Is that possible, Richard?
No, I think there was a backdoor deal with Dom Paratisi, and basically he said, look, in January, we're going to give you a war chest. And I think this is his way of exposing it. I think for the first time ever, I really do believe that Levy's going to have to bite his tongue. And in January, he's going to be given carte blanche to just get rid of cut losses and get in players. They wouldn't have brought him in. There's no way he would have signed unless Levy at the last minute undermines, Paratisi. but there was something that was going on. He knew what he was getting into. He's seen this team. He didn't want to do it from the beginning. He knew the same players, and then he was guaranteed something. So we'll see a big change in January. So in the end, the loss, again, Man U got us Conte. This loss is going to get us a whole new roster in January. I'm convinced. Mark my words.
Okay, excellent. Welcome, Adam. Thanks for joining, buddy. Adam, we've got Richard from Charlottesville, Cam from Florida. So thanks for joining. Adam, we haven't got your take on that. I can't swear, but that performance yesterday. Give us your thoughts on that. We've all had, Richard, Cam, and me have had a moan about it. What do you think about it?
Well, I was watching earlier, so I think you guys pretty summed it up. Typical Spurs. Same old players that should be pushing for first team, not doing well enough, not even showing any sort of character to go into it. I heard Jamie O'Hara speak earlier. He was on the ball, he was right about all of it. Dele Alli, absolute disgrace. I think he spends more time choosing what colour his dreads are going to be than what he's going to do with the ball. And Ndombele, the same as usual. So yeah, it's terrible.
If Dele and Ndombele can't do it against a 5th division team from Slovenia, they can't do it against anybody, can they, Adam?
I've said it before in this chat. I look at Dele Alli. He plays better when he was aggressive. And that was his first couple of seasons against Pochettino. Then all the press got on his back saying, he gets too many cards, gets too worked up. Whether something was said to him mid-season and he's changed. I personally think he's like David Bentley. He's fell out of love with it. He's in a cushy little armchair. It's been 2 or 3 managers that he hasn't performed under. So, yeah, he needs to go. It's a question of how much you're going to get for him. We should have let him go to PSG when we had the chance.
That was Levy, another Levy masterstroke, not letting him go.
Right. We've got to come in here because I think it's important. There's 2
Morning,
things
Kev.
I think
Evening.
a lot of people are saying here that, you need to war chest. Simon Stevens has said it about his how much money we need. But let's go back to the Conte thing, because I think what is really important here is Conte has shown that he believes he can improve some players. And the 2 players that none of us here would have wanted in our team, which is Ben Davies and Harry Winks, he thinks he can improve. He's given them game time. He's put them in. It's interesting how everybody hated Ben Davies now, and he's become a regular under Conte. And you can see why after that shower of a performance yesterday without him. And suddenly we're now relying on Ben Davies to come in and save the show. It's incredible. No one would have expected that a while ago. So what I think Conte is saying here is there are players that were probably outcast, but I can get the best out of and take to another level. I know who they are. Very clearly, he now knows who they aren't as well. And those are those players that were playing yesterday. I don't believe that. And I've said it from the day one. And Ndombele, for me, should never wear that shirt again. Dele, I'm sorry, should never wear that shirt again. Sanchez, I'm still going to have the jury out on. But the other player that should never, ever, ever put that shirt on again is Doherty, unless he's actually carrying someone's shirt to help them to do a change. That's about as good as it gets for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Richard, following on from Cam's remark, who do you think is just basically dead in Conte's eyes, is never going to get back in this team again?
Listen, man, if Conte can make Winks and Davies can, I'll plan it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, those guys. I mean, Dyer. Again, people were saying Dyer was great. Yeah, great against NS Mura. Like I've seen these guys for 4 years. I don't need to see anymore. I mean, they're great against Leeds United and these bottom, Europa Conference League. We're never going to win anything. We're not a Champions League team with Dyer and Winks and Davies. It's not going to happen. I think everybody needs to go. If you're Son or Kane. I've seen maybe Romero, but we haven't seen enough of him. He's hurt again from international, but Lo Celso and I said last year Steven Bergwijn is slowest attacker I've ever seen in my life, and that's another signing. He didn't even make the trip, so we've got a lot of problems. And I want to start completely over. I don't want to see any of those guys. I mean, I do like Emerson Royal. From what I've seen with him at right back, I'm not completely done on Region. I think he's done some. He can be a good player, but everyone else, forget about it. Done.
Yeah, I mean this.
Adam, what about Skip?
Yeah. What about Højbjerg
I
and
see
Skip?
Skip and Højbjerg. I only want one of them.
I don't think Skip is up to
both
the
of them.
standard at the moment. He's not an elite player yet.
Skip was the best player. You know, he's normally one of our best players in most of these.
Can't play it forward. He's always passing it strideways, isn't he? That's the problem. We don't have a creative player. Adam, what are we going to do with these players? How are we going to get rid of them? Because Cam said and Richard said, "I'll just sell them in January." And I'm saying, well, nobody wants them. So what are we going to do? They're going to be on our wage bill. Most of them are still on 2 or 3 years of their contract to go.
Well, just do buy two, you get one free.
Buy to let.
Yeah. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, especially the hardest I think is going to be Ndombele because of how much wages and just how much we spent and how much we're trying to recoup, which I don't think we will. But everyone here summed it up. You know, there needs to be a mass clear out, but I think the ones that would go pretty quick is Lo Celso.
Goodbye.
And he's got to go as well because I think he's
not adding anything to the club, is he? He's not adding anything.
No, he's too inconsistent. You know, he gets played in too many different positions. Okay, that's not his fault, but he still doesn't produce. Yeah, he needs to go. Bergwijn needs to go. Ali needs to go. Sanchez needs to go. The backup goalkeeper, forgot his name, needs to go.
You can't get rid of half a team, Adam. You just can't do it in the Premier League.
I know you can't.
I mean,
he's going to do.
What I really like about what Adam's saying, he's gone through that massive list of players. And I'll come back to your point here, Richard, because that massive list of players, which none of us disagree with, by the way, but it's interesting how a little bit of our psyche has changed over the last month or two, because neither Winks or Davis are on it. There are so many bad players that you would, I mean, like Richard says, I mean, will you win the league with them? Probably not, but there are so many bad players that they don't even figure in the top 10 of bad players. And that's how bad Tottenham have got. And that's what really is shocking when you look at it that way.
It is.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, I posed this question to the other two guys. I want to hear what you have to say. Conte fired some shots yesterday at the press conference and all that. You know, I'm happy to stay. Like he's contemplating leaving already after 3 weeks. Maybe he regrets not hanging on for the United job. I don't know. But do you actually think he will, if he doesn't get what he wants in January, is he actually going to walk or not? What do you think, Adam?
It's a win-win, isn't it? If he doesn't get what he wants and he goes, does he get a payoff? I don't know how his contract works.
Not if he resigns. If he gets fired, he'll go. But
okay.
But a manager like that will be deemed as a failure. You went to Tottenham, and you couldn't do anything.
Well, we said a few times. You know, if this guy can't fix it, no one can fix Spurs. He was firing. Yeah, right. He was firing a few shots. Were they signals at Man United? I don't know. Come and get me in the summer. You know, when you're looking for a permanent coach, not a temporary one. Was he sending a message to the team? Was he sending a message to Levy saying, look, the state of this, you know, is going to need a hell of a lot of investment? I think he was sending a message to the team, just basically saying, look, I know who I want. I know who I don't want. And I know who, if I can't get shot of them, I can at least maybe get something out of them to pass me by as squad players.
Yeah.
I think there's more on his unwanted list than squad players. And he's got his work cut out for him. I just hope in January that, you know, we do our homework and we don't wait to the last minute and maybe get 2 in or 1 in on a loan and another one on permanent. I hope we just have a massive fire sale come January the 1st. Bang, 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 bang. But it won't happen because it's Spurs.
Hold on, Cam. Yeah, Cam. Let's look. We don't want to make it interactive. Simon Stevens has got a question. So I want you guys to hold on, Cam. I want you guys to answer this. Assuming we intend to buy 2 midfield players, a striker, and 1 or 2 centre backs in January, who is being shipped out to make way for them? Adam, let's start with you. The midfield. Who are you shipping out?
Lo Celso's got to go.
Yeah.
And Ndombele.
Ndombele.
Are you throwing your voice again? Are you, Adam?
And Ndombele.
I'll come to you.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Winks has got to go.
Yeah.
He has improved. He has looked a little bit more into it, but I don't think he's up to the standard. Yeah. Who's the guy? I've forgotten his name. He's come back from Norwich.
Skip. Yeah.
Skip needs to be given time. He's done okay. Mura can stay.
What about centre backs? Which centre backs do you need to ship out to?
God, Sanchez has got to go.
Sanchez, I think. Yeah.
Dyer.
Yeah. Okay. Sanchez and Dyer is your two centre backs here.
And maybe Rodon on loan.
Yeah. Okay, good. Richard, who's your two midfielders that need to go and your two centre backs?
I mean, from financially, I would do Ndombele and Lo Celso. I think that we could get some money for those guys.
Yeah.
Center backs would be easy. It would be Sanchez and it would be Dyer. I get rid of both of those guys.
You drive them to the airport, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I drive them to the airport. I think Winks to Newcastle, if they're willing to take him, I'd pay for the train. I've seen enough of him. And then I think, honestly, where we can get some money, I think Steven Bergwijn has to go. I think he's one of the worst signings we've had. He's done nothing ever under any
good point.
He can't even, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. I hate saying it, but he's not very good. So those would be the ones I would try and ship, immediately. And I'm not sold on Sessegnon. I mean, how long is a project is that kid's performance on? If that was the time when Conte said, "Show me something you want to make this club," and that's what he goes out and does. We literally played better when he went out. We were down a man, and we actually did better.
Scary, isn't it? Cam, let me come to you now. The midfielders and the centre backs. Who are you going to get rid of, Cam?
Well, the centre backs, I'm going to disagree a bit. I think we'll keep Dyer because he's got experience and he's got more technical skills than any of the other ones apart from Romero. And he seems to be holding it. If he's going to be playing three at the back, I think Dyer will be one that he'd probably want to keep. The other one, so two that I'd like, I think that the player that really disappointed me very much yesterday was Rodon. I mean, we all know about Sanchez. There's no point going on and on about Sanchez. But I was shocked at Rodon's performance. And it really does even more shocking seeing his performance midweek with last week with for Wales against Belgium. And I think it's just not good enough. I really think it's not good enough to play like that. I think you can get away with it at Spurs and put your heart and soul out when you go and play for Wales or whatever. I don't believe that he's good enough for Spurs. I really do not believe he is good enough. And I want him either out on loan or gone. But for me, the most important thing is to move on people like Doherty, who are very clearly a fundamental mistake and look like somewhat a destabilizing influence in the dressing room, just from his demeanour after that Leeds game, and the same with Bergwijn.
Bergwijn as well wasn't a good.
For me, I've always said from day one, Ndombele really is not a player like Hoddle said last week, and I said it before last week. Great being skillful in the backyard or whatever, and tossing the ball up here and there and holding off 16 players, but he can't pass the ball and he can't play in a unit or get to grips with how the team wants to play. I just don't understand the player at all. Absolutely don't understand him one little bit. Yeah. But for me as well, Delhi has got to be moved on now. How many chances is going to get? 3 managers have tried. Everybody's tried. It ain't working. I mean, pigeons learn faster. And the guy's it's not working. It's over. At some stage, people got to turn around, pat him on the back, do whatever it says, and give him his P45. It's over.
That's the crazy thing is I just said all that and I forgot about Doherty and Delhi.
There's too much. I think, in my point of view,
it's too many.
The midfielders is just too many. Delhi, Tanguy and Dembele, Lo Celso, Winks. They've all got to go. Centre back's got to be Sanchez. I'd get rid of Dyer. He's got too many mistakes in him. He might be experienced, but it's crap experience. I'd keep Davies because he's left-sided, but that's it. I think we got to alone some of these guys. We just got to get them off the bloody pitch because they're, as Cam said, they're like cancer in the pitch as well. They talk a lot of rubbish. They don't bring any harmony and all that. Adam, take this question from the Portugueser. If Conte
let me just add something before we move on to that question. I think Spurs are missing a massive opportunity because you got Cam and you got Richard there in the States, so they should be going to the MLS clubs and trying to broker some of the deals. Even Phil Neville's team could do with 3 or 4 of the Spurs players to try and get a result.
Put that on your to-do list, guys. Make sure you go to the MLS so we can get rid of some of these guys. But why don't you take this question then, Adam? If Conte walks away, he walks away with the reputation intact. Levy, on the hand, will have the reputation trashed. 100% agree with you, Portuguese. I think that's a great comment. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's spot on. It's spot on. It's what we've said long and all about Daniel Levy, what his vision is for the club, what he says, and what he actually does is two different things. A guy who put all the staff on furlough when he said the club is about family, who's always haggled over a price, even when trying to get rid of players that we don't want, who's never signed players that the managers want. So, yeah, the pressure will be on him, and good, because hopefully that will be the final curtain for him. But I seriously doubt it, unless revenue starts decreasing or threaten of relegation. I can't see him walking. But who else would he turn to?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, realistically, who would come to the club if Conte goes? Who would actually come to the club?
Yeah, and Richard, if Conte goes, isn't that's the last nail in the coffin for Levy, isn't it? One of the best managers in the world has come. You couldn't work with him. You couldn't improve the team. He's left. Surely, Adam's right. Nobody else is going to come, are they, Richard? After
100%, 100%. I mean, I agree. I mean, I've said it. I liked when Jose came. I liked it. I'm like, if we want to win, you take next to Sir Alex Ferguson. This is a coach that is arguably the most successful coach ever to coach in soccer. And if there's anyone that's going to let us win, it's Jose. And sure enough, he leaves. So I thought that would be the end. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if Conte, I don't know. It's been a crazy ride. I didn't think if Jose left without winning anything that we would be in this position. But now we've gotten a little lifeline. Now we've got Conte, and maybe if he can't do it, but I hope. I don't know.
I don't think Levy's stupid enough not to make it work with Conte. Cam, let me put a question to you. Where does Don Paratici fit in all of this, between the power struggle between Conte and Levy? What's Paratici's role, Cam?
Well, I think that Paratici is probably instrumental in Conte signing his contract and coming to Spurs. And I think between the two of them, if they do not make some major moves in January, then I think this whole fairy tale is over and everybody will be gone. Our biggest problem is not about Levy, Enick, or whatever. It's if Conte does leave, and I think now that now it suddenly seems to sink in why he only signed an 18-month contract, because he clearly thought, all right, let's get some work, see if I can do anything, and I've got a pretty close exit clause here. If he signed a 4 or 5 year contract, he might have found himself in a bit more difficulty in trying to get out of it. But I think that if Conte goes, then you've got to worry about the club. We've got to worry about what players we're left with, who we're left with. We were struggling to get a manager in the summer. Who did we get? We ended up with Nuno. We know how that turned out. And now we finally got the man that we wanted. And as Richard said, one of the best managers in the world today. Who next? Who's going to be able to do anything if Conte walks away? And I think that's the biggest concern you should have now. If you're Conte and you're sitting there and you're looking out there right now at the clubs that are available and the little merry-go-round that's going to take place in January with managers and stuff like that, and you found yourself stuck with this Spurs squad when you could have been at PSG, you could have been at Man United, you could have been wherever you are, you're going to start thinking pretty clearly that, maybe if they carry on like this and they don't give me what I want, I've got a reason to walk. So the Portuguese's comment is very interesting, because I think it actually is Conte sitting there thinking, I'm going to stay right now. I'm still going to stay right now. And I'm going to give you a quote from him right now, which he said, which is really telling, I think. He said, it is important he said that the club is outstanding outside, which is to create a stadium. But now we start from behind, which means about the players. It is important to know this because I am not a magician. We all thought he was, right? And after 3 weeks, I have found players that want to work and have great commitment, but sometimes it is not enough. So he's saying clearly, making his statement very clear, these players are not good enough. And if you don't back me, like I said, I can walk out of this. And what does he lose? He loses what? 15 months money? 15 months wages? What is it?
Nothing. Richard doesn't, and I'll come to you in a minute, Adam, but Richard, doesn't Conte hold all the aces here? Because if he does walk and Levy doesn't back him, he's going to walk out. Nobody's going to blame Conte for walking, are they? All the heat is going to come on Levy. And it's for that reason I don't think Levy is going to not back him. That's what I think. What do you think, Richard?
100%. I mean, look, I think we're at a juncture in with Tottenham that there's no turning back once we sign Conte. If Conte and Jose Mourinho can't even lift a domestic cup, who's going to come after them? How do you sell this job to anybody? So it's boom or bust. Like, I really feel like this is it. That's why I know we've been fooled. I know everyone. I know it's like, we're not going to spend any money. Just wait. It's always Levy. But there's no way in January. We can't fail. We're on a note. We can't fail. We have to spend money. We've got to win something, because if this guy walks, no one is going to come to talk.
Yeah. I mean, on the flip side, Adam, if he is able to turn it around and win like a cup or something for Spurs, the first time in 10, 15 years, whatever it is, he's going to be seen as a hero, and his stock is going to go up, isn't it? So there is stuff for him to be done here, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah. It's a massive challenge. It's a massive achievement if he does, because no one else has been able to do it. No one else has been able to do it. And loads of players have come through the door. Loads of players have gone out, and he's managed to do it. So that will put him right, even though he is right at the top. That will be a massive statement to the rest of the world that I've taken the bare bones of Tottenham and I've turned them into champions.
I was listening to a podcast. Sorry, go ahead, Richard. Go on.
No, imagine, like you said, imagine on any interview, I won with Tottenham. I mean, you can get any job in the world.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and one of the Italian football experts was saying, Cam, that he doesn't really care about the Europa Conference League. He's obsessed with top four, because with top four come Champions League. With Champions League, you can attract players. Do you think that's accurate? That he doesn't really care about the Conference League?
I don't think that a manager of Conte's caliber should be managing a team that's in a Europa Conference League, firstly. But secondly, I also think he's a winner. And losing a match to in effect, a non-league quality team is an embarrassment for any manager. And it's a big embarrassment, especially when you're a new manager. And I think one of the key telling points of Jamie O'Hara's comments is, how are these players, there was a hunt between them, Sanchez, Doherty, Dele, and Ndombele, about over £100 million outlay between those four players. All on them and Ndombele, or as much money as Harry Kane, £250,000 a week. Dele signed a contract on 150,000. I don't know how much Doherty's on, but I'm sure it's going to be in the 50s and 60,000. Let's just say they're being paid nearly £500,000 a week. They have the temerity to behave in that way on the pitch and disgrace the fans, disgrace those supporters that went there, and disgrace all of us by putting on that shirt and performing like that. I mean, there's just no excuse. There is no excuse. And, it's very hard to see how any of them come back from this. And I really think this is now a test of wills for Conte and for anybody managing the club, whether he ever lets any of those players play for Spurs again. Because I think as a fans, we want to see. I don't care what we get for them now. I don't care whether we can sell them now, but they need to be outcasts, and we need to make a stand, because, like Richard said, it's boom or bust. You've got to make a stand somewhere and say, you know what, you're done. He did it with Costa, and it cost him. He's done it. He almost did it with Eriksen, and he brought him round. But he's got to do it with his players and say, you're done here. You're not playing for this, and with this level of skills that you do not possess, or the abilities and the disrespect that you've shown to that shirt. And I think that's what we need to see as fans.
The thing is, Adam, and I don't disagree with you, Cam, there was Costa, there was Eriksen. In Chelsea, in Inter, there were a few players that needed to be brought up to speed and, bought into it. At Tottenham, there's like half the team. How much is this guy going to be doing? Half of the team, 6 or 7 of them are below standard. I think that's what he said. I'm not a magician. You can't,
Honestly, that's why, yesterday watching the game, I really felt for the first time that's why Harry Kane held out. That's why he didn't want to come back. I think he's known all along.
He was poor yesterday. Harry Kane was poor.
I think he tried his best given the service that he's been given, but I think all along you can see it in his face. Like, what is happening here? I don't know. I feel the whole club is it's bad. It was a rotten show yesterday. And I actually, like I said, I felt bad for Harry Kane. I saw him trying to out dribble anybody. There was no one around to pass to. He couldn't get service in the box. He's 50 yards away from the ball half the time. It's bad. I don't know.
Okay, it's really bad. Adam, I don't understand what's going on because Conte is one of the best coaches in the world. He knows how to play. He knows how to win. What's happening? He's telling them what to do, and they're incapable of doing it. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I know. It's Mourinho highlighted that he had players that weren't following his instructions. It was clear under Nuno that they were just doing what they wanted. Let me throw this out to all of you. Really, we should be questioning the scouts. Who scouted Sanchez? Who scouted Ndombele? Who scouted Lo Celso, Bergwijn? If it's the same couple of scouts,
well, it's Steve
really,
Hitchen,
they're track. Well, is it? He's technical director, but there's other scouts that are going around feeding this. So really, they need to look at the scouting system because their recruitment over the last couple of years has been absolute diabolical, putting it politely. And you look at Chelsea and Man United. Well, forget Man United, but you look at Chelsea and even Southampton have brought in fantastic players. Villa's scouting system has been very good as well. And you've got Tottenham, who's supposed to be this world-class team. I've brought in some shocking players.
So, Adam, if Conte does walk in January, and I hope he doesn't, does that mean Don Paratici is going to go as well then? Because he's the one who brought him in. How can he stay there?
Do you know what? I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think they would. I think they'd walk out together.
I don't think
there's no way he would be able to stay. No way.
I think I think that Richard's right. It's boom or bust. If Conte walks in January, I think 80% of the fans will walk with them. I think you'll find empty stadiums. You'll find that Tottenham will sink very, very low. I don't think people will start buying the shirts. I think the impact that will be financially on them will be devastating. I
think they're too loyal for that.
They may be, but this is a big moment right now. I think we are.
It is. What do they call these times? It's a seminal moment, isn't it?
I think
it's a seminal
cliffhanger.
It's a seminal moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Kane would be on the table in January too.
If Conte wants to get rid of Harry Kane, Richard, would you support that? I mean, I'd support anything Conte did because the guy knows what he's doing.
I mean, I think for me personally, I love Harry Kane. And I understood what he did. I understand why he didn't want to come back because I really feel like at the core he knows this team is rotten. And I think yesterday I saw it on his face. Like I don't want to be here. I can't, what am I doing here? I'm in Slovenia. I'm going to be the all-time goal scorer for England, and I can't get a ball in Slovenia. And I think if they want to make smart business, I think he has to go, and I think they got to get a lot of money for him.
Yeah, he's really
there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of players that we saw wear the shirt for the last time. That's what I said. Turning off the game, I turned to my kid. I'm like, we're not going to see a lot of players in Tottenham shirts again.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah,
maybe. And Harry will finish the last two games against Brentford and whoever is it Burnley, right? And then
Burnley,
yeah, we'll see. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's up. The only player I would not touch would be Son.
What about Hugo Lloris?
And Lloris.
Lloris and Son.
I think Emerson Royale, Son, Lloris,
Romero.
And I think Lucas Moura, for all his faults, it gives us everything he has. Other than that, everybody's on the table.
Yeah. I think you're right there. Really, I've lost my train of thought there, Cam. But we need to buy some new players. Which new players would you go after in January? There's not many good players available, are there? In January?
No, there are not many good
players. Frank Kessie, Vlahovic. Which ones would you go after?
I mean, you see, there we go. I mean, I was looking at this, and everyone says Kessie. But what is Kessie? Kessie is not your creative midfielder. Kessie is a cross between Ndombele and Højbjerg. And oh my God, I've got a line of them at Spurs. So many of them that we don't even know what to do with them. I mean, if there was a cup which was given to the team with the most of midfield mediocrity, we'd win it every year. Because look at who we've got. We've got players. Name me one of those players that you would see ever get in any of the top four teams in our midfield right now. Any player.
There is nobody that would get in.
The best midfielder that we had last season, whether we like it or not, and I know he was absolutely just treated shabbily by Mourinho for a while, was Bale, who gave us 16 goals. We got rid of Bale, and we now have nobody. I know I love Bale. I wish he was still there because at least I knew the guy knew how to put the ball in the back of the net. We have nobody who's replaced that. So we're now depending on Son and Kane again. Højbjerg scored twice as many goals in the Premiership than Kane, and that's a full number of 2. So that's where we're at right now.
It's all very. I mean, give me some crumbs of hope now, Adam. Talk positively about some stuff, because Richard and Cam are on a downer. You talk positive, Adam. Say something positive about the team.
Well, I think Cam's highlighted it. Højbjerg's going to be Harry Kane's replacement, and he's already getting trained up now.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Goals.
I know what I was going to say. Which players are? I'll put this question to all of you. The Burnley lineup is going to tell us a lot about Conte and where he's going. So, Richard, what do we look for in that lineup to see, who's actually going to make it with Conte, who he's got faith in, and which one's like, forget it, I don't care about you guys anymore. You had your chance and you screwed up.
If I had to guess, I think it would be Lloris. I think Reguilon would be on the left. I think Dyer is going to be next to him. Romero's hurt, so I don't know what happens there. Emerson will be on the right. I think maybe Rodon will get a second chance, although he can't. His passing is just horrific. Like, he just gives the ball away. I think Højbjerg will be there. I think Winks is going to get another go. And if they're going to play Skip, Winks, and Højbjerg, I can maybe even see that, which is unbelievable. And then you're going to have Mura, Kane, and probably Son. That would be my guess.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, I do feel for Conte. It's just lack of any quality other than a couple of players, isn't it? I mean, he's not a magician. What can he do?
That question that you asked, I was just thinking, Richard's just named the first team squad, because you look at all the other players, there's no one else. There's no one else you would put in that team. And he's scratching about. He's literally
Galini
working with what he's got.
Galini was meant to come and give competition for Lloris. That's not happening in a million years.
No.
Have you ever seen Galini dive for a ball? I never have. So.
Yeah, I have, just to pick the ball out of the net. Again, you say who's in charge of recruitment, Richard. That was Don Paratici.
Yeah, I mean,
it was.
Don Paratici got Brian Hill as well.
Look, Brian Hill is still a youngster, and I think that he will develop, and he needs time.
Can you see him taking over from Son?
I mean, I've got Adam and me have got an issue that we really need to discuss as well here today.
I know where this is going.
You know exactly where this is going.
Go on.
And personally, I think that Sessegnon's performance yesterday was absolute disgrace to the team, the big letdown and stuff.
First of all, was it justified 2 yellows there?
Yes, totally justified 2 yellows without any shadow of a doubt. I know the guy was yellow card happy, was an absolute lunatic, and God knows how Mura was so professional enough to be able to get almost every single one of their team booked without one player getting booked twice. I don't know how that happened. But the fact is that Sessegnon yesterday was a disgrace. I'm sorry, and I've seen this guy for 2 years. When he was at Fulham, he was number 1 on my list. I thought, this is the future. Get him in here. But I know you can hide behind injuries, and I know you're going to say Bale was crap. I never thought Bale was crap. I was there with a season ticket when he came, and I loved him from day one. But my point is,
you were just about to sell Bale, weren't you?
Sessegnon is and Lo Celso. My issue with them is, yes, they get regularly injured, but I believe they're the kind of players who hide behind their injuries, who look at their injuries and then, I'm not good enough to play and I'm not getting up. What is going on? Because I've never seen Lo Celso injured for Argentina. I've seen Sessegnon seem to be okay, but that guy is he's either got 2 left feet or he's got some serious.
I think you're being harsh on Sessegnon. He's only just been coming to injury. I want to hear the other side. Adam, put the other side for Sessegnon. Come on. Then we'll come to Richard.
He needs to be given a fair chance. Needs to be played more often, not be like some cameo, couple of minutes off the bench when he's only just come back from a major injury. He's had a brilliant season at Hoffenheim, come back, got injured, and he hasn't maintained fitness. But I think he's a kid that you can mould. He was fantastic for Fulham under Scott Parker's guidance, and Conte, with someone that young, who's got that pace, got that talent, I think it'd be brilliant.
If
Bale,
Ryan Sessegnon was a better player. Sorry to cut you off, Adam. He's better than Victor Moses, isn't he? Sessegnon, I think so.
He is, and look what they've done to Victor Moses
exactly.
with Conte. You know, as soon as Conte turned up, you thought Moses first casualty. You know, there's no way he'll be first team under Chelsea, and he was. He held that place. So under Sessegnon, yeah, I think he's got a lot of talent to work with. Redknapp, you know, he said that every time we started Bale, we lost. Came close to selling him for $2 million. Switched his position. Done some training with him, turned him into a better player, and he's become a world class. So I hope that's what we do with Sessegnon. And I think he's got this season to prove it if he can stay fit. If not, cash in on him. But compared to some of the others that I've had season after season.
Yep. Richard, what do you think? Should we Sessegnon is one for the future? We should stick with him. You know, do you think Conte's going to stick with him, Richard? Ryan Sessegnon?
I mean, yeah, I don't have any. I don't know. I mean, he just. I think. Where did he play? Like, so wasn't he a back? Didn't he play
He's
like
a left back? Yeah,
left back, and now he's left wing, and he goes up and down. So I don't even know what position he plays.
What position did he play for Fulham when he had that great season, Cam? Was it a left wing back?
Left back.
I thought it was a left back, yeah, but a bombing left back.
I think defensively he's not all there, but
no.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, again, you know, there's young. I guess you can say that they're young, and the jury's out. But again, I just expect more from both of him and Brian against Mura, right? Like,
yeah, Brian Hill wasn't really good yesterday.
And again, they're saying, well, he's on his right side. Well, so what? My kid plays left on the left side, and he's right foot. Like these are professional footballers. Like he looked like when he got the ball, he didn't know where was that on his feet half the time. So I don't know. I think right wing is a position that, I mean, we replace Bale with Bale. Like when are we going to find a right? Yeah, think about that. When Bale left, who took his spot?
Nobody. We never replaced him.
Nobody. Bale came back and took his spot back.
Took his own spot. Yeah, you're right.
Back with Lucas Moura and Bergwijn, and now they put Hill up there. Like we don't even have a right wing. We're in sham. I'm sorry, man. Go back to someone else. I'm negative again. I just start thinking about
no, just pour your heart out, man.
Richard, I think that's an interesting point that you do raise. I mean, we have a habit of overfilling with mediocrity the same position over and over again. So you've got these players that are playing on the wings, but none of them are really that good. You know, two bad players don't make one good player. And I think this is a Spurs problem. It really is. I'd rather, you know, all of us would trade in 5 players for 1 player that knew how to score, knew how to take the ball, and knew how to pass it. And none of them do.
Yeah, and that's why when Bale came back, I said, man, look at it. He's slow, he's rigid, he's not the Bale, but he's the best right winger since Bale. He's like literally the best player that replaced himself. That was it. He scored 13 goals and he could barely move.
He's an amazing finisher as well. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the thing about Bale, the thing about Bale that I liked is the fact that he was moving the ball quickly. You'd never hold on to it. He would pass it, run, pass it, and run. And what was so frustrating in the last few games for Son and for Harry Kane is they're passing it and they're running. And the Ndombele's and the Hadelis and even the Moras and the Højbjergs and the Skips don't know how to pass the ball forward. So they're running. And how many times, I mean, you've all played, me a long time ago, played football. When you make runs and stuff like that, no one ever passes you the ball, you stop doing it. You stop doing it, and then the whole pyramid starts to collapse. I mean, the amount of times we could see the ball on TV, just pass it to him. Will you pass it now? Don't wait another 5 seconds, 3 seconds till they get offside, by which time it's too late. It's got to be done. I mean, you know, and there is a real disconnect with those midfielders who just don't know how to pass the ball. And what Bale was great at was getting the ball and giving it and going, give and go, which is how he's been a successful player in teams like Real Madrid and why they're so good, because they know how to move quickly. We're ponderous, we're slow, and I think what Conte is saying is no amount of training is going to get that out of these players, because that's who they are.
Give me back Moussa Dembele. I'd do anything to get him back on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not available. Adam, tell our viewers what's the January transfer window like? I mean, it's not obviously like the summer window. Can you pick up good players in January? I mean, what's our history like in January transfer windows, Tottenham?
Well, it's not very good. But if you want to throw money at it, I'm sure you can get good players if they want to come to Spurs.
You're competing against Newcastle, aren't they? Newcastle are going to be in the market.
Do you know what? I was just thinking who I would take straight away is Saint Maximum from Newcastle.
Yeah.
But then he comes to
just
Tottenham
brilliant.
and he turned into another Lamella or something, though, wouldn't he? He'd ruin all these players. We're cursed.
Saint Maximum. Give him 5 players. Take your pick.
He's just.
Why would he come to Tottenham? He's going to get all this money at Newcastle.
Well, because I think he loved the London appeal. He might think it's an upgrade. He working under Conte, world-class manager compared to Eddie Howe. I think there's a couple of reasons. He might get quite a real good salary increase. I don't know, but I just think it'd be awesome. Eden Hazard, he's not getting in Real Madrid. No, you might be able to get him. Coutinho, might be able to get him. I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a hard one trying to find one. I definitely do think you need a decent backup for Lloris, who's going to start competing for Lloris, because I don't think he's got many seasons left in him.
Well, he's only got 7 months left on his contract, so he might not stay either.
Yeah. So do you look at Sam Johnson or someone like that?
Pick for as long as you can.
Okay. So, sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So, Richard, when are we going to find out in January? We said it's a seminal moment. I want to tap into your brain here. When are we going to find out if Conte's staying or going? Is it going to be the first few days of the window, or is it going to be like towards the end? When are we going to get a trigger to say this guy's staying or he's going to go?
I think it'll be when we have our first big signing or our first big exiting. Okay. I think if we sign, I think that the key, if we can sign that Vlahovic, that Fiorentina striker, I think that'll be the one where they're going to have to pay, and we need him, and he wants to come. And I think if we sign him, it's game on. And then he's got to move a lot of people out to make room for him. I think that's the big one. I want to see him here. I think he'll solve a lot for us. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get rid of Kane also.
Yeah. So that would be a signal of intent from Levy saying, "Look, I'm backing you now. You can buy Vlahovic," and that should placate Conte and keep him. I think if you back him in one of these signings, he's going to be happy, isn't he, Richard?
Yeah, that's my. But the whole money thing. Again, like we said, I don't know how anybody's going to want 10 of these players that we've been naming for. It's going to be a fire sale. So I think we're going to have to get rid of somebody that we don't want to. That's why I think January is going to be, it's boom or bust. Like I said, there's no turning back. I mean, if Conte can't do it, we're never going to find a quality manager. This might spell the end of a career for a lot of people. Maybe an Enoch, and we'll see. So
I think it's like you can't be half pregnant. You are the eye or you aren't. Yeah. So January is going to be the time, actually, I think. What about you, Adam? When do you think we're going to see the first signals about whether it's going well or badly for Conte in January?
I think the first couple of weeks, if he managed to get a couple of signings in that we know are the ones that he wants, fantastic. If some random turns up who's got potential, like we always get, he'd just look at it and go, right, yeah, I'm done. Absolutely done. Because that's what we've done the last few seasons. We've bought players on YouTube videos that have done a few step overs, and we think, yeah, they've got potential. Let's sign them. And yeah, they're just shocking. So January, like Richard said, January is going to be boom or bust.
Yeah. Cam, again, January is going to be boom or bust. Let's see if he gets his players and if he makes, gets the players that he wants. Because if he doesn't, he's going to leave pretty early, I think. He's just going to go and say, look, this is not working, I'm going. And we've got the same problem then. We've got to get a new manager. The players are rubbish. It's just, and you quite rightly said, if we got rid of those 4 players, that would take £500,000. Listen, £500,000 a week off the wage bill if we could just get rid of those guys.
Yeah, I think that what we've got to face up to is the fact that, as a Tottenham fan, and I think, Richard's probably said a very important point, that's something we haven't been talking about, and that is getting rid of the players with value. I wouldn't be surprised if Mura goes simply because he might get some money for him.
Yeah, Bergwijn's got to go.
If Bergwijn goes, somebody might give us something for him. I think if whatever we get for Ndombele, I mean, if we could all chip in and put $10 down, maybe we might get, maybe they might sell him to us and we can farm him out somewhere. But
it's his salary is going to be a problem. His salary is going to be a
massive problem. But the thing is that I think that what Tottenham need to, and what Conte needs to be saying is we need 11 Conte players in that team before we're going to be happy. Because frankly, the best players that we've got right now, apart from maybe Son, who's just signed the 5-year contract, is the only one that will stay. Son and Lloris for me. Son, Lloris, Højbjerg, and maybe Skip, Reguilon, Emerson,
Romero.
And Romero are probably going to form the backbone of that team, which is about 5 players. And we need 6 Conte players. 6 Conte players, whoever he gets. And if he doesn't deliver it then we can all say, Conte, you had the money, you tried to do it, we did it your way, it didn't work, what went wrong? But if we don't do that, I think the team's doomed. And I think Conte knows that he's, this is it for us. If we don't do it now,
as I said about that podcast yesterday, Adam, the guy was saying if Conte doesn't get what he wants, he'll make their life hell, and he's going to make that toxic, that whole dressing room is going to become. He's going to throw all his toys out the pram, and he's really going to shout and scream. So let's see what happens. It's like the irresistible force meeting the immovable object against Levy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Conte's, he's a fiery character. He's outspoken. He'll tell you how it is, and he'll put Levy in his place, without a shadow of the doubt. I think it's going to be 2 windows that's going to shape this. If he gets a couple of players in that he wants in January, then I think he'll think, okay, I've got the board back in. They're going to back me for the players that I want. And then I can have a proper look in the summer. Maybe try and work on getting the players that I can't get out, because January, it's such a small window. It goes quick. We've got an issue with the squad registration as well, with how many internationals and UK players. So if we're struggling to sell them, either rip up their contracts or loan them out.
I think that's
so.
A good point, yeah.
That's another issue as well. So that they need to address. But yeah, January, it's just absolutely massive. But it's a hard one. Who will you bring in to make the team better? Really, who will want to come to Spurs?
Okay, Richard, we're going to wrap it up soon, but give us your thoughts about Burnley and what type of team he's going to put out there, and what do you expect to happen? Give us a prediction.
I think I guess the roster off the top of my head, I don't think he has much choice. Given what the disaster class that we saw yesterday, I really worry again in the midfield where we're going to get the service to go up top. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be. If we get any points, it's going to be 1-0, 2-1.
But Richard, the first 3 games of the season we won 1-0, and Kane wasn't playing. Do you think it hinders the team when he's back playing, but he's unhappy, he's crotchety, he doesn't want to be there? Is that hindering the team, Richard?
I didn't see that the last game. I felt
like his body language wasn't great, really, was it? I
think he's just frustrated. He wants the ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's frustrated.
He's been unlucky. He was really unlucky in Leeds. I think once he scores, he's world class. He'll get on, but I just don't think
there's no doubt about that. Yeah,
I don't think the quality behind him is any good. So I expect another close game. I wouldn't be shocked if we lost, which will make my trip to Brentford even worse. But I'd love to have a win. So when I go out to watch him versus Brentford, it'll be a good mood. So,
Cam, your thoughts about Burnley and
Nuno beat Burnley. I'll take it from there. I mean, you're talking about a pretty poor team. We know how they play. I don't believe that.
Hold on a second. You said a pretty poor team. Mura is not exactly the best team in the world, are they?
No, what I'm saying is that Burnley are a pretty poor team.
That's what I know. I know what you're saying.
I don't think
they're better than Mura, aren't they?
They were 20 times better, but I don't think that team, like we've already said, that was a Conte firmly believing that some of these players had something to prove. And this is what I think we and I don't want to go back to that, but you brought me back to it. But these players that had something to prove did prove something very valuable to this club, that they are not interested in the club, that they're not good enough to even play against a team like Mura. So that was a good thing in a negative sort of way. I think it will go out with the team that we all expect. I think his performance against Leeds in the second half was very good. I think Son's performance was very good. And if we played anything like we did in the second half against Leeds, we'll easily overturn Burnley. If we play anything like we did in the first half against Leeds, we're in some serious trouble. So I would say a 2-1 to Tottenham, but I think that we desperately need those points.
Yeah. Adam, just before I ask your prediction, is there any chance that Conte could leave before January? If he's fed up, they lose to Burnley, they're playing crap. Could he just walk before January, or is he actually going to wait till January?
No, I think it waits to January, unless he has a massive fallout, or Levy changes the goalposts and says, the only money.
Yeah.
Well, you hope. Well, that's the only reason why I think we managed to get Conte. Yeah.
Sorry, go
but
ahead.
Unless he changes
him leaving
his spots and says, you're only going to get money through the players you sell, then I'd be straight out that door. But
because you're giving him bad rubbish and you're expecting him to get rid of all the bad rubbish. He's had nothing to do with recruiting those guys.
Yeah, they've thrown him in the position. They've thrown him in the position where, if you can make something out of this team, fantastic. You've saved us loads of money. If you can't, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can muster up.
Well, he tried yesterday.
How many of those players would actually been at Tottenham if Conte was a manager? Probably half of them wouldn't even be there, would they?
No.
Sorry, Adam, go back to your Burnley, your prediction and your thoughts about Burnley.
I think it's 2-0 because I'm gonna be positive. So I think it's 2-0 to Spurs. The only one thing I hope that Conte manages to sort out, that we keep on doing with every Spurs manager, and it never changes, is we got to put a cross in, and there's only one player in the box, and you've got about 5 or 6 defenders there. Always happens. And I've watched Conte's games, the last couple of games, and it's still happening. Why is no one getting in that box? Challenging the keeper at the far post, the near post, on the edge of the area. I don't know why we keep on doing it when there's only one player in the box. Absolutely drives me insane.
Yeah, I understand that. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to draw 1-1 with Burnley, actually. I don't think we're good enough to win there. I still think this team is evolving under Conte, but... Hi, Bob Spurs. Thanks for joining, buddy. 2-1 Spurs. I hope so. I hope you're right, mate. Kane to start scoring again would be great. Final thoughts from everybody. I know it's been a bad week for us, but let's go to Richard for final thoughts before we close. Richard, final thoughts?
You know what? Like I said, man, it's always fun being a Spurs fan. Peaks and valleys, and we're definitely in a valley. And who knows? Maybe we'll go out there and they'll win 5-0 and everybody be back on board. So I'm just looking to get out of this valley here. So
we've got a good run of games coming, winnable games we thought. But anyway, let's see.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you in London. I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Definitely look forward to that. Cam, final thoughts before we close.
Just talking about the valley, as Richard just said, as they say, Richard, and the valley of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Let's hope there's somebody who's got an eye for goal. Our biggest issue is still can't find not enough shots on target and everything else. And my view is that if we can move the ball as quickly as we did in the second half against Leeds, things are coming together. As long as Ndombele, Dele, Bergwijn, Doherty never play again, then I will be happy.
Sanchez. Winks.
Can go on and on.
Yeah, we can go on. We can be all day just listening to play. What about you, Adam? Final thoughts on Spurs? And I want you to be the positive one, Adam. Come on, all these guys that get Richard and Cam are like in death row, suicidal. I want you to be
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I really don't. I hope this is the game
Richard on suicide watch. Anyway.
I hope this is the game that Harry Kane turns it around and gets a hat trick. I really do. I hope we completely change, quick pressing, high tempo football. And Cam's right. I hope those players stay away unless they get new jobs as stewards for the crowds, because that's all they're good for. But no, I hope we win and we see a different fight in our players, and we start our season now.
Brilliant. Okay, guys, this is Ray in London. Thanks to Cam in Florida. Richard in Charlottesville making his debut. Richard, will you come on again? It's been great having you on, man. Your passion is
all the
great.
time, man. I'll do it. Looking forward to it.
Adam, again, thanks for joining, buddy. Thank you, everybody. Come on, you Spurs, and let's hope for a win. We'll see you next week, guys. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
All right, we'll speak soon. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.